There are two kinds of numbers, prime numbers and composite numbers. Composite numbers are made up of factors and can be broken down into what we call prime factorization. That's where we list all the factors of that number that are the prime number factors. So in order for us to use prime factorization, we follow a couple of steps. And the first step that we have when we use prime factorization is that we want to break apart our number into two factors. Now it can be any two factors. I sometimes start with a number that I know goes in. Like 60 is an even number, so I know I can divide it by 2. And 2 times 30 gives me 60. Now 60 actually has lots of factors. I could have done 6 times 10. I could have done 5 times 12. It doesn't really matter. I just wanted to pick something that was easy, and I know since it's even that 2 is one of my easy factors. Now step number 2 is that we're going to circle the factors that are prime. So when I break it into these prime factors, or into these two factors, sometimes I'll get a number that's prime, like 2 is a prime number. 30 is not prime yet, so I'm not going to circle it. But the idea is we want to break this down into just our prime factors, so we're going to circle them once we know they're prime because I'm not going to do anything with it. Now any number that's not prime is going to need to be broken apart again. So I'm going to take this factor of 30 and I'm going to break it into two other factors. I know 30 is 5 times 6. I also know that because 5 is a prime number, that my next step is going to be to circle that. So I'm going to circle any prime factors I had, which is 5. 6 is not prime, so I'm going to keep repeating these steps where I break it down, and then I circle my prime factors until I get all prime factors. And I know 6 can be broken down into 2 times 3. I also know that both of those numbers, 2 and 3, are prime, so I'm going to circle those. So once you have all the numbers that you've broken apart circled, it means all you're left with are your prime factors. And what you do for your very, very last step is you're going to write all the factors, all these prime factors, as a multiplication sentence. Because when we do prime factorization, what we want to do is break this number apart into the things that we can multiply. So I know that it's 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And I know that because I've got my 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And if I multiply all that together, I will get 60. Let's try one more. Okay, 36. Now as I said, there are lots of different ways to break apart some numbers. 36 could be broken apart 2 and 18. It could be 3 and 12. I'm going to break it apart using 4 and 9 because those are two numbers that I know very well. They're basic facts to me. 4 times 9 is 36. But neither of these numbers is prime, so I'm not going to circle anything just yet. I need to break 4 apart into two prime factors, and I know 4 is 2 times 2. Both of these numbers is prime, or are prime, so I'm going to circle them because both of those are prime factors. And now I'm going to break apart my 9. 9 I know is 3 times 3, and also both of these numbers are now prime factors, so I'm going to circle them. And my very last step of all again is to write my multiplication sentence. So I've got 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. However many numbers I have down here should be equal to the number of circles I have. So again, 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And that's the prime factorization of 36.